up? It is 3:21:24. I did a boo-boo last night. Let me make sure I'm not going to do another boo-boo tonight. I did a really huge boo-boo last night, and my latest YouTube live was muted. I literally had my microphone muted while I was doing it. So you guys get to watch it all over again, this time with audio though. I made sure my audio was not muted because now I'm having to recreate what I did yesterday, which is, I always say go with the flow. I There's a reason why that thing was messed up. Maybe I said something that I wasn't supposed to say, or God didn't want me to say it. So today you get to do take two of my content from yesterday, where we are going to talk, and I said I was going to talk about the this physician's comment on my YouTube channel that says, and it was Martha, it's about Martha, it's a public comment, but Martha said, my struggles are due to a foreclosure, which is looking horrible on my credit, along with some credit card debts. Is taking a loan or is taking out a loan with an attorney, parentheses, ever an option in this case? They negotiate with creditors. So we're going to break this comment down, and we're going to take a look at, and I'm going to share our discourse as well of what happened during that time and what are the exchange we were doing in terms of this conversation. Oh my gosh. I hope you guys can hear me out there. It is, let me just make sure I am being heard, because it's the worst when you create. Let me see. Hear me out there. Okay, you can hear me. But it's the worst when you're muted and you've literally finished an entire content and you re-listen to it. I was driving around a lot today, and so I had a lot of time to re-listen to my live last night. I always like to re-listen to it because when I'm creating it, because it's live, I don't remember what I said. So we are going to recreate this, and we're going to do it again today. I'm excited to share with you guys because obviously the last night's live was not meant to be. Tonight's live is meant to be. Just excuse me for a second. I'm looking down on my phone because I want to make sure that I have Martha and myself's discourse open on my phone so I can sort of use it as a cheat sheet as we're going around and talking about Martha's comment in regards to, and Martha is a physician. She's having some struggles on her credit report. That's why I always tell people, because I get exposed a lot with high income earners like that. And I always say this is a Koreanism. It's not about the money that you make. It's about the decisions, the discipline, the commitment that you make around the money that you make. Because there's people out there that makes a lot more money, yet they're just broke at a higher level. The worst broke, the kind of broke you could be, is when, it sucks to be broke, right? But the worst version of being broke is when you actually make a lot of money and you're still broke. That's the worst kind of broke. So let me share my screen, you guys, because this was what I was talking about yesterday, and I want to make sure we capture this moment together. I'm also on my YouTube live, so if you're not on my YouTube, make sure you go over there and subscribe to my YouTube so you're always in the know when I go live. All of my content is in my YouTube library/channel, so you can go back to it, you can review it. If you listen to it while driving and you wish you listened to it while taking down notes, you can always go back. So today we're going to talk about more money doesn't always mean less money problems. More money does not always mean less money problems. More money doesn't always solve all of your money problems. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Welcome to my YouTube Live. If you are not on YouTube yet, my name is Kareen Mills. It rhymes with bills. You know the one, the dollar bills. I'm a financial educator empowering women to get rich and then give. You can't give what you don't have. So you got to have it first and then give from your overflow. Tonight is the night. This was actually content from yesterday, but we're going to redo it because I was on mute last night. Let me know if you can hear me down there. Okay. So I know you can hear me. My struggles are due to a foreclosure, which is looking horrible on my credit, along with some credit card debts. Is taking out a loan with an attorney ever an option in this case? They negotiate with the creditors. So we're going to just address this one sentence at a time, because sometimes in my YouTube channel where there's a lot of comments and questions, sometimes it's like a whole paragraph. And in order for me to truly address it, I just have to break it down in small little bite pieces. So let's address, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to fix this. Foreclosure. Let's address foreclosure, okay? Foreclosure is just a timing thing. It is something that you just have to allow time to lapse. There's a couple of things on your credit that there's just nothing you can do. Now, are there going to be people or credit repair people or anybody else out there that is going to want you to pay them? Are there going to be people out there that's going to tell you they can remove it from your report? Yes, of course. And I'm talking from experience here, because we were 2008 market crash, never a victim, always a victor, casualties. We were casualties of the 2008 market crash. And this is why I'm so passionate about financial literacy and education and really debunking these things, because it sucks to be a casualty of a crash. The problem with the crash, though, you guys, problem with the crash. Let me just fix that, because I can't stand it. I can't stand that spelling. Okay, let's fix it. I'm going to fix it behind the scene. Just bear with me. I'll be right back. But the thing about a crash, so I'm fixing it, I'm talking to you, I'm multitasking behind the scenes, is there's also a lot of opportunities to make a lot of money. Okay? When there is a crash, there is a lot of opportunities to make a lot of money. And part of those opportunities are the vultures. The vultures will start showing up, telling you they promise you the world. Then you get scammed, because I got scammed after the '08 market crash. I always teach people to learn how to put the brakes on when they're on desperation mode. Put the brakes on when you're on desperation mode. Just do it. Just like Nike says. Take a pause, walk away, take a break, de-stress. Because when you are in a state of, what did I just say? When you're in a state of like oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. When you are in a state of like you're stressed out, you are like being squeezed, and somebody is trying to get you during your vulnerable time, you're going to make stupid decisions. Take it from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, There's also a lot of shame and guilt around this. Sometimes, too, there's a point in your financial journey when it's hurting you enough to walk away from something, or when it's hurting you enough to walk away and just let it stop. But because you're a person of integrity, but because you are successful before the situation, you hold on to it like nails on chalkboard. Right here. I know this because I've been through it. You keep putting the band-aid on, putting the band-aid on, putting the financial band-aid on until you can no longer. And I found my word. It's a desperation state. So many vultures opened businesses during the 2008 market crash and was vulturing on people's vulnerability, people's desperation. And of course, you start believing these people because they sound so professional, right? So to go back to Martha's question, or not question, it was actually a comment on my YouTube and we had a discourse. I fixed it. To go back on her question, my struggles are due to a foreclosure, which is looking horrible on my credit along with some credit card. Truthfully, foreclosure is just time lapse. Now, of course, there's a proceeding you can go under or undergo, and there might be a possibility for a lawyer to do it, but she's already struggling. Do you know what I'm talking about? Unless you could find a lawyer that'll work for free. Lawyers ain't free. So along with some credit card debts, by the way, Martha and I had, I asked Martha just for this specific presentation tonight, how much money she makes every single year, because I know physicians and surgeons that make $700 a year, but still broke at a higher level. Okay, I'm exposed to that. And so the good news for us, the good news for you is there's hope. Because heck, if somebody makes that much money and they're still struggling financially and they're just broke at a higher level, that means there's hope, because it's never about the money you make. It's about the discipline. It's about your stewardship. It's about your habits. It's about your commitment with your money. You know, they always talk about budgeting. And a lot of people think budgeting can make their problems go away. It's a good start. But budgeting is not a sophisticated solution. I think a lot of people think, oh, okay, I'm going to do budgeting because it's going to solve my money issue. You guys, budgeting is really easy. It's just plus and minus, and then you get an outcome in the bottom. It's that simple, right? But it's not that simple, really, because we don't take the time to do it. This example, Martha, makes $250,000 a year. Like some of you that makes maybe just a 6-figure income or maybe less, thinking like, if I just make $250,000, all my money problems would go away. Well, here's Martha for you. If I just make $500,000 a year, all my money problems would go away. Well, I have a student that makes $700 a year and broke at a higher level. Do you see? It's not the more money. It's the more good money habits. It's the dedication to your money game. It's what's going to get you out of these troubles. So budgeting plus minus an outcome. Here's the problem though with all the hustle mentality, all the hustle culture, is we worry so much about the plus. It's good to worry about it, but we're not worrying too much and paying so close attention to our minuses. It's the middle. I call them minuses in budgeting. The deduction, the outflow, the cash outflow, I call them the middle. No one pays attention to the middle. That's where it matters. It's where the rubber meets the road, is the middle, the minuses. And if you don't pay attention to them and you just wing it, you're going to end up with more month at the end of your money, no matter how much money you make every single year, because you're not paying attention to your outflow, to your minuses, to your middle in your budgeting. The goal is to have a positive cash flow, right? The positive outcome every month, because that's when you can play with money a lot. You can then put it in a investment account. You can then put your money to work for you while you sleep, because gosh darn it, it's your money's turn to work while you sleep. You work hard for your money while you're awake. At some point in time, it's got to go reverse. At some point in time, you guys, the goal is it's got to go in reverse. So credit and foreclosure, it's going to stay. It's going to season out. And here's what I was trying to say. In the 2008 market crash, there's many of us that held on and held on and held on. Like, looking back, I wish I would have done it sooner, right? But there's a lot of guilt and shame around it. Who cares? You're the only one who has to live your life. So if you must just learn from it and then do what I'm doing. Teach others from your experience so you can make an impact, because God did not just put you through the ringer for no reason. God puts you through the ringer so you can then solve the problem and then teach others how you did it. Educate others about it. Everything in life has a purpose. Do you see? If you have not seen my why video, why I do what I do, I encourage you to go to subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch it. It's like a couple days ago. I cried. I cried plenty. A lot of people hang on like nails on chalkboard when there's a potential foreclosure. When they go on the other side of it, they're like, oh my gosh, I needed to do it a long time ago. But I kept going and because I'm so ashamed of it. Did you know that now mortgage professionals, write down in the chat if I'm not accurate anymore, but the last time I checked was, did you know that you could buy a home within 2 years of foreclosure? What a great country. What? Yes, you can do that. You can buy a home 2 years after foreclosure, provided that you've done really good and you've become a good steward of your money and your money game and your credit and all that game. And there's no additional item that's showing up after the fact. Because after the fact, the idea is for all of us to hopefully learn the lesson of foreclosure. Or if it's bankruptcy, the lesson of bankruptcy. Unfortunately, life do happen, and life will continue to happen to you, to me, to anyone else. No one is safe from life. That's why you have to control what you have control over. There's a lot of things we don't have control over. The second part of Martha's, let me go back. The second part of Martha's question or comment was, is taking out a loan with an attorney ever an option in this case? They negotiate with the creditors. And I said to Martha, it's definitely an option, but it is not an option for you because you're already struggling. Why would you take out a loan? We don't even know if you're going to get approved for a loan. Martha's not my student yet, so I don't know what her credit looks like. I don't know what it looks like behind under the hood. We're just having like a public conversation on YouTube. It's not an option for you. But I told her, and this is why I wanted to pull my phone because my discourse with her was a bit long. I told her, hey, Martha, foreclosure is a timing thing. There is nothing you can do once it's happened to you. It's what you do afterwards. Once it's reflected on your credit, you just have to let it season and time lapse. In regard to getting a loan for attorneys to negotiate, I would not do that if you can help it. There's actually nonprofits in your local community that can help you with this. If you can share your city and state, I can look it up for you. There's a lot of resources and classes you can take in your local community provided by a nonprofit. Martha already knew she just needed to hear from me. And you guys, even though you are in like the peak of your life, even though you are having fun in your life, even though you're financially free, it's still really important to know this because you have friends and families that's going to need to hear from you. Because sometimes we just need to hear from someone because we are in this desperation mode or we are in a lot of shame and guilt. And sometimes we even just talk to third parties. We don't want to be judged. The worst judge in this world is our own family. They'll judge you super easy. They will judge you. Easy. Easy. So Martha talked to me online. I'm a third party to her. You know what I'm saying? And Martha says, thank you so much for this information. I knew it would not be a good idea. She already knew to do the attorney thing. I live in Boston, Massachusetts, and I've already gotten with the local library on some credit repair options, but mostly organization and budgeting. So you guys, remember, the biggest component of your financial journey to create a positive experience is to make the commitment into your financial organization. That's it. And the problem with lawyers and physicians like Martha, they're busy doctoring and lawyering. They do not have time to be a good steward of their finances. That's why some of them are broke at a higher level. She said, I've made very good money over the years, but just have not been a good steward of my finances in this year. I'm changing that and I really appreciate your content. It's been super helpful. I just joined your Facebook group. I said, you're not alone, sister. Guys, remember I said you have to know this even though you're in like a high horse right now? Because I've been there and then I fell really hard. Because people really need to hear from you. People really need your support when they're going through desperation. And I can tell you right now, trigger alert, after the '08 crash, the emotions are starting to come up my esophagus. And it's going to go through my throat and it's going to come out as a tear. It's how I exactly feel. So I took a deep breath. It feels very isolating. You have no one to talk to. And people need to hear from you to tell them that they're not alone. So I said to Martha, you are not alone. Most high income earning professionals are on the same boat as you. Great at their professional craft, not so much at financial management. And so the resource that I shared with Martha, this is the resource I shared with Martha, nfcc.org. I said, go to this website and find your local chapter, agency, or credit counselor. It's a nonprofit organization that'll help you. The one thing I did tell her though, because I know some of these places, they will require you to close your credit cards, all of it. And unfortunately, in the credit game, that will hurt your score significantly. And there's nothing you can do about the one piece of credit that is a large part of credit, which is the history. Because when you close your credit, then you have zero history, right? Or your credit cards. So I asked her to negotiate if she can keep them open. And if they have to close all of them to force her into a better behavior in her money, I suggested to her to negotiate again to see if you could keep one of them. And make sure that you choose the one that has been with you since the beginning of your credit life. Because part of the credit game is seasonality, is how long you've been in the game. And if you close those accounts that's been in your credit life for quite a while, it's going to hurt your credit score. And so that was the suggestion I gave to Martha. I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to show you guys and share with you guys the NFCC website, because there's probably some of you that could use this. Okay, I'm going to share the NFCC website. So this is what it looks like. You go how we help, who help. These are the things that they'll help you with. If they can't help you, I'm sure they have a network of people they know. You complete the form so you can find yourself the best nonprofit credit counselor for you. NFCC stands for National Foundation for Credit Counseling. So again, there's their contact information, there's their 800 number, but the best thing you can do, by the way, full disclosure, I am not a partner, nor am I being sponsored by these people. I'm just really here to help, and I'm sharing this information. This information is actually shared. I learned it from a multimillionaire client who was also a casualty of the 2008 market crash. And so this is truly coming from my heart. So don't take it lightly. If this is you're having financial trouble, you need to speak to a credit counselor. Please take this seriously and reach out to these people. And if they don't have anybody for you, I'm sure they can point you in the right direction. So let's go ahead and finish and wrap up. Let's see. Because I get to do 2 content tonight. I get to do repeat from yesterday, and I get to do tonight's, because remember, Women's History Month, I made a commitment. What does commitment mean? Commitment is doing the things you said you were going to do long after the mood that you said it in has left you, because motivation is fleeting. I might get motivated to do it March 1st, March 2nd, 3rd, maybe up to the 5th. But by then I'm like, oh, why did I do this? And the middle of the month, I created content to tell you why, so I can keep going. Because why I do this is what fuels me. No matter how exhausted I am, no matter how little a setup I have. We were in Joshua Tree. I had like a lampshade everywhere around me just so I could have enough lighting. That's what commitment does to you. That's why committing to your financial freedom and committing to your daily activities or monthly activities, tracking your minuses in your budgeting, and make sure that those minuses are something you are aware of, you're going to be better with your money. Listen, guys, my time is up for this evening. This was, again, the second version of our content from yesterday that I had to redo. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not yet. My name is Kareen Mills. It rhymes with Bills. You know the one. The dollar bills. Join Raw. Raw stands for Rich Anonymous Women. It's a personal financial community that is hosted inside Facebook, a private Facebook group. It's my paid membership community. And the way that it works in there is that you curate your own experience by asking a lot of questions about your money game, about your financial stuff. Unless you ask questions, I always tell my boys this. Unless you ask questions, the answer will always be no or none. Rich Anonymous Women is where financial independence meet girl power. Join today. Links in the bottom. It's in the description everywhere. All of my links are actually in the description. There's some resources down there. Please go ahead and take a tour. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. And I will see you in my next live content.